Some gifts are bought with money, but the most precious ones are bought with time, love, and memory. The first rays of the sun crept through Henry's kitchen window, painting the room in shades of gold. The kettle on the stove began to whistle softly, and the smell of fresh coffee filled the air. Buddy was already awake, sitting patiently by Henry's chair. His tail tapped against the wooden floor in slow, rhythmic beats. His eyes followed Henry's every move. Today, Henry had a surprise. The box looked old, the kind of old that carried stories in its grain. He sat down slowly, his hands brushing over its smooth surface. Henry had been working on this for weeks, quietly, each night, after Buddy had drifted off to sleep by the fireplace. He lifted the lid. Inside lay a leather collar. Its deep brown surface had been oiled and cared for until it was soft and supple. The brass tag caught the sunlight, glinting warmly. Etched into it, a name. Buddy. Buddy sniffed it curiously, ears perked, then looked up at Henry with eyes that seemed to ask, "For me?" Henry smiled. "This belonged to my first dog," he said, voice low and full of memory. "He was my best friend." The collar had sat forgotten in a drawer for decades, but in the quiet moments of recent weeks, Henry had restored it, every stitch, every polish, not to bring back the past, but to honor it. He knelt, gently fastening the collar around Buddy's neck. They stepped out into the morning air. They passed the old oak tree, its branches arching above like a cathedral roof. Neighbors waved as they walked by. Mrs. Lang from across the field, young Sam riding his bike. Buddy walked proudly, the brass tag catching every ray of sun. Henry noticed it too, how it gleamed, almost as if it had been waiting all these years for this very moment. They reached the riverbank, where their favorite bench sat beneath a willow tree. Henry lowered himself onto the bench with a sigh of comfort, and Buddy immediately rested his head on Henry's lap. The water shimmered, catching bits of light like scattered diamonds. The sound of the river was slow and soothing, a reminder of how time can flow gently when we let it. Sometimes the past has a way of living again, not to replace what we've lost, but to remind us how deeply we've loved. Henry scratched behind Buddy's ears. "This collar, it's more than leather and metal," he whispered. "It's a promise, Buddy, that you'll always be part of my story, and I'll always be part of yours." Buddy gave a quiet, content sigh. The world around them faded into peace, and so they sat, two souls bound by loyalty and love. Proof that the best gifts aren't wrapped in paper but in moments. Moments we choose to keep forever.